Hi, Happy New Year. This is my first go live in 2018 and I'm excited to be back with you. I have my wine in hand. I hope you have yours. I've just called some of my friends in tonight. We're going to talk about one of my favorite topics and probably one of yours, the yoni. And so if you don't know what a yoni is, join me and you'll find out. I'm going to be doing a really cool presentation here in Reading on the 17th for women, a ladies' night. Hi, lots of love coming through. And Mark's going to join me tonight too because yonis are his favorite topic. I need to call in some of my other friends too. Let's see, Bunny Lambert. She's a big yoni fan, and she does a lot of work with women around the world and with the Sibian. That might give you a hint about the yoni. Good evening, everybody. Hi, I see people coming in. So exciting. I've missed you. How were your holidays? Tell me how things went for you. Did you have a good time? Everybody's safe and sound? Are you glad they're over? I'm glad they're over. So, let's see, what's been happening? Well, I've been resting up. Hi, Jeffrey from New York. Tell me where you're from. That would be awesome as people are coming in. I always love to see where people are piping in from. The internet still blows me away. Pretty cool. So I've been resting up because starting at the end of this month, I'm going to be running from land to land, country to country, lots of flights around the world. So right now I'm home, and I've been home since, when did we get home? I guess December 3rd or 4th, something like that. So this is the longest I've been home for a while. Feels pretty good. Hey, Fred, nice to see you. So you didn't miss it tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about the yoni, and I'm going to be posting some. Oh, Ava's in. Ava, we're talking about the yoni tonight. So I'm really excited that you're here. Ava is a yoni expert. I guess any woman with a yoni is an expert. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You think? And then there's a few men out there that are yoni experts. Hi, Philip. Nice to see you here. Oh, gosh, this is fun. Ava, do you have a glass of wine to join me? I wish I could see all of you and hear you talk, too. This makes me a little crazy. We need to figure out a way to do that. Everybody popping in. Very cool. So the word yoni is a Sanskrit word, and it means the source. So can anybody guess what that means? What we're referring to when we talk about yonis? Feel free to comment. Yeah, go get some wine, Jeffrey. Ava's watching me with her pussy, Zorro. She has a boy pussy. Tell Zorro hi for me. I miss him. I'll see him soon. So we have some really cool things happening for you. I'll just kind of fill you in a little bit as we get ready to talk more about the yoni. In February, I'm going to be teaching at Hedonism for Valentine's Week. So if you're going to be there, please attend my sexy seminars. I would love that. We're doing sensual yoga, erotic massage, erotic communication, and some really fun interplay between the couples that attend for Valentine's Week. And then in March, Dragonfly, Connie Love, she's hopefully going to be popping in, and I are going to be, and her husband E, and hopefully my husband Mark will be teaching at Hedonism called The Magic of Passion. So, hi Randy from Ohio. And then in April, I will be traveling to Europe, and I will be there for 23 days, Mark and I. and we'll be teaching aboard the Desire cruise from Barcelona to Rome. And then I come back in May, and then at the end of June, I will be teaching in Jamaica again for the Exotic Lifestyle Retreat. And that is for women. It's a goddess celebration. And the men who love women. So or the women who love women, but we're celebrating all women. And then in July, I will be negotiating right now, but it looks like I'll be teaching back in Jamaica the second week of July, a girls' retreat at over on the other side of the island where Hedonism 3 used to be. So I'm really excited to go back there. So if you want a really fun girls' retreat where we talk about all kinds of things like the power of the yoni and sexual confidence and empowerment, and then so that's in July, and then the end of July I will be at Naughty in New Orleans. So Bob Hannaford, we'll call Bob in, and I'll be there with Bob. He's trying to have the most sexologists at one event ever. So we're going to see if we can hit a record. Maybe Ava will go to New Orleans with me. And let's see. Then what am I doing? At the end of August, I will be, if anybody wants to go to Europe with me for 14 days, I will be teaching yoga. All right, Jeffrey, got your wine. In Europe, from Dubrovnik to Prague. That's a 2-week trip. So it's a small group, under 30 people, and we will be together 24/7. And I'll be teaching yoga wherever we are. So on the bus, on the boat, on the plane, on the beach, in the cathedrals, wherever we are inspired to enjoy the environment with a little bit more consciousness. And then at the end of October, I will also be going back to, Mark and I are going to be going back to teach a couple's 2 weeks from Rome to Prague, and it's an island, or from Rome to Dubrovnik, and it's an island hopping tour. So some really cool things planned. And then when we come back in November, I will collapse until February. So it's going to be a crazy time. Yeah, I am traveling all over. So this next year is going to be probably the biggest travel year of my entire life. So we'll see how I hold up. Wish me luck. So cheers to 2018. Starting off good. Starts off with a bang, huh, babe?
Crazy.
Did everybody have a safe New Year's Eve? I drank too much tequila this year for New Year's Eve. Did not feel good the next day. And I had to do the walk of shame where I had to actually go we stayed the night at this hotel where the party was because we didn't want to drive. And we stayed the night and not being prepared. So I got to walk out of the hotel room the next day in my 4-inch hooker heels and short skirt and sequins top and velvet jacket and, looking good. I should have said something to Mark like, oh, you forgot to pay me. Maybe that would have given the maid that was standing there waiting for us to come out. So, Andrew, you have a beautiful villa in Barbados. Well, hook us up. Send me the information. Because I'm already planning 2019. So if you want me to do anything anywhere, you gotta grab me because my schedule's filling up, which is very cool. Plus, I'm starting to do more things locally. Very excited. On the 17th, I'm doing a girls' night here, and it's called Your Yoni and You to Thy Yoni Be True. And it's a 3-hour event, wine, appetizers, dinner, talk. Got some really great things to raffle off, and nice chocolates for dessert, and so all kinds of fun things.
Not too bad.
Aruba, I was just there in Aruba. So what's a yoni? Is anybody going to tell me what they think a yoni is? Has anybody looked it up since I've been talking? Hi, Linda. Do you know what a yoni is? It's not a who, it's a what. Well, you got to send me more information, Andrew, okay? Anybody going to guess? Yoni. I know Ava knows, so that's not fair. So any of you guys know what a yoni is? Its Sanskrit meaning is the source. Nobody's coming in. Yummy? No, yoni. Y-O-N-I. Yoni. So in Sanskrit, I will send you, let's see if I can find, I'll find a picture. So the picture that I posted of a young man apparently gazing at a yoni. So here's a fruit example of yonis. Let's see, is that gonna, no, it's not gonna work. I can't do photos. The Volvo. How the vulva? Yeah, the vulva, V-U-L-V-A. Yeah, it's something pleasurable. So it's the vulva. Now, does anybody know what exactly a vulva is? This is your sex ed class tonight. So what's a vulva? What is a vulva one thing, or does it encompass other things? I should give you a hint. It's something pleasurable, yeah. The fountain of life. That's right, Ray. So, so Ray knows what yonis are. So the vulva encompasses all the female genitalia. And it's really a more appropriate term rather than vagina. A lot of people will just call the women's genitalia their vagina, and that's really not accurate. It's a high-end car. That would be Volvo, Linda. Thank you. It's the little man in the boat. No, nope. That's called the clitoris. So the vulva is the whole shebang. The labia, all of them, both of them, the clitoris, the vaginal opening, the perineum. So the whole area is called the vulva. So when you're talking to your little girls and you're washing them and you're teaching them their body parts, that's really a perfect word to teach, because that's everything on the outside. The vagina is on the inside. The uterus is on the inside. So teach them about their vulvas and use the term. It's really important. We don't teach, when we talk to little kids about their body parts and we say, here's your nose and your eyes and your ears. We don't make up cutesy little terms about those parts, but we do when we talk about their genitals, which is so silly. It makes them think that there's something wrong or different, or to be hidden, secretive about that part of their body. So we really need to be just as matter of fact about teaching them their body parts and their genitals as we are their face or their fingers. It's really important. But we have to get over our squeamishness as parents before we can do that. So practice it. Vulva, 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 vulva. Say it over and over again. Maybe if you're out at a restaurant, you might want to wait. So why is the vulva so mysterious? Why is it that we have so many depictions of it? If you look in art, if you look in nature, there's really flowers and fruit. I was going to post you a photo of, and I'll do this a little bit later, strawberries. And if you cut a strawberry lengthwise and you open it up, it looks just like a vulva. So there's many fruits and vegetables that look. It's a Sanskrit name, right? It's tantric term. It's Sanskrit. So tantra is just a segment of yoga, of a belief model that uses those terms. But yoni is really a beautiful word, and the male term would be lingam, which means the wand of light, which would be the penis. Now, it seems like there's more people fascinated by a yoni than penises. Men seem to be very fascinated by their penises. In fact, they're so fascinated, they like to send them to strangers in their inboxes on a daily basis. I've had about a dozen so far this week, which I have to tell you just pisses me off. It's offensive, it gets old, it's not hot, it's not flattering. There's nothing positive about it. Okay, guys, nothing positive. So if you want to be viewed in a negative light by women, if you want to be viewed as kind of a dog, pig, not in a friendly way, not in a loving way, then keep sending the dick pics. But yet we understand that men are very proud of their penises, as you should be. Enjoy it. It's your tool, your toy, and we enjoy it periodically too. But the vulva and the women's genitalia seems to be more intriguing to both men and women. And I think that is partially because of it's mysterious, because so much is hidden. If you see a naked woman walking along, you really can't see anything that's going on under there. So it keeps it kind of mysterious. And that's why girls typically don't really understand their bodies. They don't understand what to do with them. They don't investigate, partially because they're shamed out of it. And the other reason is because everything's so difficult to get to. It's not easily visible. So Tina's saying that she had that happen a few times. I don't know you, not sure why you send it to you. They want to hook up. I think that, and guys, you can help me out with this. I'm still trying to figure it out. When a man sends a dick pic, I think he's hoping that you're just going to reciprocate without thinking about it and just send him a yoni pic. Is that correct? Or do they think it actually is going to make you want to have sex with them? I mean, are men that delusional? I don't know. And maybe it's just that they are exhibitionists and that they get off on that. But really, it's important. I'm all for people being exhibitionists, people being voyeurs, people being what they are, who they are, when they are. That's awesome. But you have to have consent before you can inflict yourself on another person. So that's why one of the best things about hedonism is that it's a consented place. You go there and you know it's a clothing optional place. You know you're going to see naked people. You expect it. You don't go there if you don't want to see naked people. I mean, that's really the bottom line. You don't have to be naked, but so the yoni is so sacred that God needed it to be treasured. I don't think God exists, so let's not talk about God. God didn't have anything to do with my yoni. So it's really the source of life. I mean, it really is where life comes from. It's where pleasure is received. It's really where our source of energy is. If you've ever studied the chakras, that's our creative, connecting, powerful energy source. And so when we experience it and we honor it as women, our lives open up. When we suppress it or deny it or neglect it, our lives close down. So I do a lot of work with women, being that I've been in the yoga world for about 24 years and in the health world for over 30 and in the sexology world for the last 5 in a serious way. It's really important that we understand the value of the yoni for womankind. And it's not there as a tool, as an object for men. It's there for us to enjoy. And men need to learn how to honor it and respect it and treat it. And when they do, and the men who do, oh boy, does the reward come back to you 100-fold. So really, really important that men start to understand women's sexual power and sexuality from a different perspective, one of really humble honoring. This whole Me Too movement, I think, is crucial to the changes that have been needed for a very long time about how men and women interact. We need to learn more about male energy, maleness, male power, male need, and vice versa. So we can't do that if we're feeling afraid or unsafe. And one of the most important parts of any relationship are for the woman to feel safe and the man to feel appreciated. So if you look at if we want to try to bring it down to what are some two really important components, those two components can really create magic. And then there's many other factors that come along with that. But if women don't feel safe, not much is going to happen that's good. If women feel like they're going to be belittled or betrayed or neglected or taken advantage of or hurt, they're going to shut all of that down. And I think that's really important for men to know about their partners and for women to know about themselves. And then to be able to state what they want and what they need in the terms of what would make you feel safe. So does anybody have a question about the yoni? So in my talk coming up, we're going to be talking about if your yoni could talk, what would she say? So what story would your yoni tell about her experiences in this life? How she would view the world. So here comes my king.
You're personalizing the yoni, huh?
Personalizing the yoni. See what my husband wears on his chest? Why is that so important?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, we're always waiting for peace. Peace is out, peace.
You always want a peace.
Yeah, that's it. You always want peace.
Thank you, Jeffrey. So you're always looking for peace of mind?
Yes. Quietness. Get my beer here.
Get your beer. Bring a stool over if you want.
Oh, that's all right. Still my favorite topic, the yoni.
The yoni. So Tina says, "Hi, Nance King. How are you?"
I'm good. I'm good.
He is my king.
I did get a little beat up last night, but I'll let Nancy.
That was not last night.
It was the night before.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's a long story. He didn't really get beat up. We're not going to necessarily share all those things.
Okay. That's okay.
Those are private.
Yeah. So the yoni is paradoxical because it is a center of power in life, and yet it's a weakness.
Weakness?
Oh yeah. Yeah, men,
Weakness for whom? You?
Well, no. It's also got some, some weakness to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the weakness?
Well, it can, that's why people who are religious believe in the devil, because the pleasure is so high and so good, it becomes a weakness.
Okay. But that's my mind too. My mind is probably my
Your mind's a weakness.
When it comes to sexuality, yeah, because my fantasy life gets me going.
But when you mix it with a few of those sensations, it's...
And a shot of tequila or two, and I'm toast.
Yeah. So that's a weakness. So it's powerful, but it's also a weakness.
Yeah. I don't know. Vulnerability, maybe. I don't know if I would call it a weakness, because she's pretty tough. She can take a pounding. I stole that from Betty White. Yeah. Don't ever. And I had to correct a guy the other day. Don't use the term pussy to insult somebody. You know, why do we do that? Why do we, when we're trying to insult somebody and tell them that they're weak and that they're not strong or powerful, we call them a pussy?
Because it would be hard to say you're a vulva.
But what makes you think a vulva is weak and not powerful?
Well,
it is the power source.
I think times are changing.
Well, no, that's always been. Think about men. Boys are born, they come out of there, and then they spend their whole life trying to get back in. Right?
Yeah, just partially.
Just partially.
Yeah, I don't know where that saying came from.
I think we need to change it. Yeah, so we're stopping that. No more using yoni or vagina or pussy or any of those words as an insult, because those are actually high praise. Because that means you are the source of life. You're the powerful one. Now, call them balls. That would be more insulting, because those things just hang around and they are so weak and tender they can't take even a flick. Right? Hey, balls. I like saying that anyway.
Well, it is a little paradoxical, isn't it? That
yeah.
You say, hey, you've got balls, which means you're tough and strong, and
but not really.
If you're a pussy, you're weak. And...
I think we got that screwed up somewhere along the way, because that couldn't be any further from the truth. Calling somebody balls would be telling them they're weak. Right? Yeah. Because you guys protect those things like, oh, don't touch me. So you need a little guard.
I mean, it may mean that you're a little more inclined to be impulsive. You know, men are...
You have balls.
Yeah. Like to run into
thoughtless.
Fires. Yeah. All right. So you have to go the other way. We're going to have a warfare out here, are we? This is a peace sign.
I know that you have to wear that. So somebody asked, they must not have heard, what is a yoni, Jeffrey? What is a yoni? It is a vulva. It's the whole female genitalia, the whole kit and caboodle. I don't even know what that means, but I like the way it sounds.
It's probably not the caboodle.
Let's see. I think I need a drink. Laugh out loud. But if mine would talk, it would probably say it needs some pleasuring or something. Okay. So I'm going to ask the women at this conference or this evening, this event, to if they could talk to their 16-year-old yoni, what would they tell the 16-year-old yoni? So think about that, ladies. What would you tell your 16-year-old yoni if you could talk to her? What would you tell your 16-year-old dick? Lingam. What would you tell it now?
Oh, maybe be careful.
Be careful.
Wise up.
Those little sperms can cost you a lot of money.
But
how much are those sperm worth?
well, he says almost nothing.
That's true. Sperm is cheap.
Yeah.
Eggs are very expensive.
Yeah. On the evolutionary scale.
Yeah.
In the United States, with laws, they can be very expensive.
Well,
anywhere.
It's the egg it's the egg you found. Your sperm per sperm really isn't worth much.
No.
But the egg that one little guy finds is costly.
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting to compare and contrast, but this is interesting times with the Me Too and now the What's Next. And
what next?
And where all the power is, like you say, the yonis are powerful, and they're starting to figure that out.
You know what? We've known this a long time. If you think about the women's movement, this didn't just start. But I don't know what happened along the way, because I was a little bit shocked when I started doing research on the Equal Rights Amendment. I must have been asleep during those years, because I did not realize that it didn't pass, and it's really been dropped. It's like nobody's talking about it anymore. And when you look at the rights of women in the United States, they're not equal. We're not represented the same in a court of law. The rights for men are very clear cut. The rights for women are subject to interpretation by the judge and the attorneys. So it's not equal, and women aren't represented equally. And that when I realized that was still the truth, made me a little pissed off.
Well, I think I don't agree, but
well, of course you don't.
But I think when they did write all of those early legal documents, they did use the word man and men as a kind of a general term, and so that could be corrected with something like that. Yeah.
Well, they didn't mean women; they meant men. They didn't put persons, humans. I mean, woman is the word man is in woman. So if they wanted to incorporate men and women, they could have said woman, and that would have incorporated everybody, right? Would you have felt incorporated if they'd have written woman?
Probably not. It wasn't used in those terms.
Well, I've never called a man.
Right.
Right? So why would I feel like if it says man that it means me?
Right. So years ago when they said mankind, you would have not interpreted that as being a human, right?
No.
This is your stubborn.
No, but it's not. But because I know the history of human beings and our cultures, and women were considered objects, not human. So all of those things that were written based on men being the only viable being. Everything else was disposable. Everything else was for sale.
But that's been steadily changing, and so a lot of those terms were used.
Hi, Bunny. Hi, Jimmy.
A lot of those terms continue to be used in our language, but not with the same intent. It's okay to clarify that. I don't think
it would be good to clarify. So, Bunny, and we're talking about the yoni tonight, and I know that's one of your favorite subjects. So Jeffrey says, I've got a point. Thanks, Jeffrey. Mark and I have these conversations a lot, and sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't.
Well, yeah. You never give up, so that's the thing.
I don't. I'm like a bulldog.
But it
got my beliefs.
It is important to keep that going.
Yeah. It is. Yep. We need to keep talking about it. So we're talking about yoni power tonight, Bunny, and yoni honoring. And I had an interesting conversation with a group of I have a collaborative group of very powerful women in my community, and we were talking about. Do you have something you want to add here before I go on? Keep on. We were talking about the words that I wanted to use to market my event, and I love the word power, and so empowerment and power and powerful women and the yoni power and girl power and things like that. So I love that word, but the women were really hesitant for us to use that in our marketing. They felt like that some of the women in our community, if I said this is about women power, that they would be afraid that that would mean that we were going to be saying that men are not powerful. It's like, if women are powerful, that must mean men aren't. Anybody feel that way? I mean, that really caught me off guard, because that seems like such a contradiction. Thanks, Minge. Happy New Year to you, too. Linda, new t-shirt, yoni power. And then you can have like this plug going in, like you can plug into the yoni power. I just got a visual. That's what I thought too, Bunny. I was like, by saying that a woman is powerful isn't saying anything about a man, but maybe these are coming from women that have really fearful husbands. that if the women wake up and realize their power, that they won't take so much shit from their husbands. How much shit do I take?
I mean, only when you have to. What?
Only when I have to?
Yeah.
When is that?
Well, when you feel bad. I mean, you make mistakes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I eat crow.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't take anybody's shit, though. That's my own, when I beat myself up.
Yeah. Is it my job to convince you what is your own?
Keep trying. You're funny.
Well, I think, we get caught up in the semantics, but we do need to decide once and for all, are there differences between
Go ahead,
women?
Tina, answer your question. Ask your question.
Or are we completely alike, and so all laws can apply equally to everybody?
No, we're not at all alike, but that doesn't mean that one is better than the other.
Right.
Right. So when we say women power, women are just, I think women need to come into their own power, regardless of what a man is. If a man is powerful or not in to himself, whatever, that's a separate issue. But when women are not empowered, they are vulnerable and they're taken advantage of, and they are abused, and they are neglected, and not good things happen when women are not empowered. So, and I can guarantee you that men would be a lot happier if women were more powerful.
This goes right back to the yoni, right?
Always. So they're all laughing at you. Minch says, I'm not married, but classic answer, Mark.
Well, it's my job to make her laugh.
And so Bunny's saying that's an issue. Women that have powerful men in their lives are afraid of the power themselves. Yeah, that's so sad. Hey there, what's yoni? It's a term for woman. No, yoni is the term, well, it's a Sanskrit term that means the source of life, and it's the vulva, the whole woman's genitalia. Power can be subjective. I'm powerful, but my man is also powerful. We can be powerful together. It's not something to be afraid of either sex. I totally agree. So, okay, Tina's question. If a woman can have an orgasm while having sex, how can a man hold their orgasm for a while and not come? For some reason, a guy had the need to tell me that. Okay.
Well,
do you want to answer that?
I think men have especially the older we get, we have a longer refractory period. And, as you get older, the sexual play becomes as much mental as it does physical. But it's more fun when you've got both.
Mm-hmm.
So, but once a man climaxes, he's going to have a refractory period. So he's going to not have that part of his sexual ability for a period of time. And it can be anywhere from an hour to a day to a few days. So I think most men, as they want to keep their partners happy, they probably start to suppress their orgasms a little bit.
And I think a lot of guys, even the younger guys, don't necessarily feel like they need to orgasm every time, especially if they're with somebody they want to play with several times in a day or over a few days, have a lot of interaction. They'll hold their orgasm just to keep their own energy high. So women have to get over the fact that if a guy doesn't come, that it's somehow a bad thing or it's an insult to her. It isn't at all. It just like a man's erection, it has nothing to do with you, really. Men's erections come and go. That's their own psychology. That's their own physiology. It's like our orgasms. Our orgasms are ours to own. Nobody gives us one. A guy can do a lot of great things that make us feel good. Then we have to allow ourselves to have the orgasm. We can stop our own orgasms, or we can allow them. So, we have to understand that sexuality is owned by the person that has the body. Then when we interact, we're surrendering to those sensations. We're getting out of our head and into our body. And when you do that, then you can enjoy it as fully as possible. And you may have orgasms, you may not, but you can still have incredible pleasure. So orgasm doesn't have to be the goal. In fact, I highly recommend for couples that they don't make that the goal ever. Just the pure pleasure that can change the whole dynamic if you're not feeling pressured to have an orgasm. And women's sexuality is challenged by age and children and working and fatigue, just like men's. So just because, we listen to a comedian. Okay, so let's see. I tried the suppression of an orgasm thing, and the couple of women I did that with hated it. They thought, yes. See, but women, overall in our culture, women know very little about men's sexuality. And men know very little about women. So this is where education needs to come in, where we need to really have these conversations. I think men and women need to go to classes like I teach, and Ava teaches, and Bunny teaches, and my friend Connie, Dragonfly. We teach people about the realities of sexuality so that you don't worry when these things happen. It's just a natural part of being, or it's fun, it's play. So you don't have to make it a goal. So Bunny's saying she highly agrees. There's too much pressure on orgasm and finishing and the end result. Yeah, then if you're one way to get a woman to not have an orgasm is to tell her to come. I've seen videos of guys going down on her or going at her, and they're going, okay, baby, come for me. Not gonna happen.
Well, the same thing's true in porn. You hear
right
at the end of the.
Well, that we know porn is educational, right?
Right. They're saying, give it to me.
Right. Yeah. Give. And what she's saying is, would you please get it over with? I'm tired of doing this with you. I mean, honest to God, that's what she's saying. If a woman's begging you to come, it isn't because she wants you to come. She wants you to be done. So be thinking about that. Just stop. Take a break. Go, okay, I don't need to come right now. It's okay. So no, Tina, you don't have to worry when that happens at all. We don't have to take on the responsibility of our partner's sexual experience. We can engage, but if they're not in the mindset, this is where we have to communicate.
What is all this training you've been doing on me for then?
Well, you're not responsible for it, but you certainly are. Let's see, how do I word this? You're an engaged participant in my pleasure, and I'm an engaged participant in yours. But I'm not responsible for yours. You're not responsible for mine. If you do all these fantastic things that you know how to do, and I don't have an orgasm or I'm not there, it's not your fault. It's where my head space is. So that's what we have to learn how to communicate is, seriously, Jimmy, that's what they're thinking. It's not, life is stressful, right, at times, and you get overwhelmed. And Mark and I have had these conversations with a lot of couples around the world. You're both working, you've got kids, you're dealing with a house, and you're paying bills, and you've got family, and you've got all life's experiences happening. And then you flop into bed at 11 o'clock at night, and you're both exhausted. That's probably not the best time to start fooling around. You're both tired. You're neither one of you really in the mood, but you're thinking, well, we haven't had sex in a week, so we probably should get it over with. Who really wants that kind of sex? So there's Lori. Oh my God. Hi, Lori. All right. Lori can pipe in on all this stuff. We're talking yonis, Lori. And Bunny's here, and Ava's here. So it is golden, Rebecca. So you flop into bed at 11 o'clock at night. You're both exhausted, and you go, all right, let me know when you're done, or whatever. You're not into it because you're exhausted. So Mark and I have for years talked about, that you have to start playing earlier in the day. You have to keep yourselves kind of revved up and engaged. You have to tease. You have to talk about sex. You want sex on the brain so that by the time you get to the bed at night, you're both hopping and ready to go. Or
sometimes you don't make it to the bed.
Maybe you don't make it to the bed. That's okay. Especially after the kids are grown and move away.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Good, Tina. I'm glad you feel better about that.
I mean, Lori has a technique or system to help men have more control over their orgasm. I mean, who wants to be with a guy that's good for 3 minutes?
Right. And I think a lot of men are afraid of that. I don't know what we're going to do about the lack of sex education, and the only sex education a lot of our youth are getting is via porn. But porn is designed for you to masturbate and have an orgasm within 3 to 4 minutes. They design it that way. I've talked to the pornographers. Now there are some new pornographers coming out that are women that are trying to make more erotic pornography and entertainment, but it's still yes, I'm drinking wine, Lori. It's still it's not education.
I never understood that.
Ejaculation choice is easy. It takes 21 days. Right. I've recommended that to a lot of men, Lori.
Well, maybe it should be to the porn producers, but I don't see why there's an advantage in that setting to finishing so soon, or helping a guy finish that soon, because they're not going to be on the phone. They're not going to be watching that long. That's how they make their money.
Well, they don't have to spend as much to make a 4-minute video.
Well, but they want you to watch the second, the third one, the fourth one. And if you're online and you're paying for it.
But if you look at how long people watch any video, I can go to my YouTube channel and tell you exactly how long people watch my videos, and it's rare that people will watch them for over a minute. So we have a culture of very short attention span people, and so it's changing people's pleasure seeking too, especially if they're only seeking pleasure from the computer and not from a human being. Then when they get together with a human being, they don't know what to do, and their body has been trained to ejaculate very quickly. So, right, I agree, Lori. Porn's porn. It's not meant to be a real sexual relating, but yet that's what a lot of people are thinking is their education. Both boys and girls, the teenagers, that's all they're being taught in our culture, which is very sad. I think porn. I mean, I like porn. I think it's fun. It's sexy. It can heat you up, but it's not a great thing for people that haven't actually been having real sex. It can enhance your sexual experience, but it shouldn't replace your sexual experience. Hi, Renee. Nice to see you here.
That's a whole different world. I mean, I don't know what the average number of partners a person has before they get married, but back in the way my parents, it wasn't very many.
Right.
It probably was more than one. They just didn't talk much about it, but it was much fewer. So where are they going to learn?
So Bunny says, here's a stretch for men. This will help men hold on longer. Your beautiful partner on the Sybian, watching her and playing with her and letting her touch you and enjoy you. Gotta go. Hey, I still need my Sybian, Bunny. Purple, right? So you've had an experience with me on the Sibian. What did you think of that?
Well, I mean, seeing a person having pleasure is very sexy. I mean, that's more arousing to me than being touched personally. I'm not real inclined to have that be, maybe as we get into it a little bit, that's good. But initially, just like you need warmed up, guys warm up differently than you might think,
Well,
lots to learn.
What's the biggest sex organ? I know my sexologists here know this. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to tell me what you think is the biggest sex organ. So Lori's saying, my beloved is teaching a class called Just Add Skill for Men, where men learn how to touch a woman. And yes to the Sibian. We use it all the time. She loves her Sibian. The brain, right, Rebecca? Very good. So if the brain is the biggest sex organ, and why would we just go straight to the genitals if we're looking to be sexual? It would make more sense to me to tell your partner an erotic story, or to watch porn for a few minutes together, to get your brain engaged sexually, to think about pleasure, to watch your partner pleasure themselves. I mean, I think that's probably the best sex for teenagers, is to teach them mutual masturbation. I've had parents go, what? Oh my God. But, they're going to fool around anyway. So why not talk to your kids about mutual, masturbating in front of each other, learning about sex from each other. It's a great teaching tool. It is completely safe to masturbate in front of somebody else. There's no worry about pregnancy or STIs or anything else. And you get to connect with this person that you're, hot for and learning about and exploring with.
Well, but as you, if that was the scenario, and I was a guy and you were a girl.
If you were a guy and I was a girl. Okay, let's go with that.
I might just hold back a little bit and watch you tease yourself. That would be getting me plenty excited.
Right.
And then I would say, oh, I'm having a little trouble here, but if we...
You can help me out. Well, and that would be fine though. You could masturbate, learn to masturbate each other. You can use your hands. You can use your mouth. You want to be protective also, but there's a lot less risk when you're talking to teenagers about being sexual if you can talk to them about learning about their own pleasure.
I think
in a broader sense.
I mean, I think probably the maybe one of the teachings has to be that early on, when you don't have that much experience, don't be discouraged. Don't take it so hard if it wasn't great.
Right.
Right. You gotta see what happens next time. And not put everything on the Cinderella moment.
Yeah. So Scott says, where can my wife and I find a sex class in our area in Florida? So where are you in Florida? There's a lot of people on this thread that have connections with Tantra teachers and sexologists all around the country, Scott. So if you want to connect with Bunny and Lori and Ava, they can probably guide you too. Tell us where you're from. There's a lot of different classes that you can join. St. Petersburg. Okay. So Lori, maybe you know of somebody or Bunny that's teaching some Tantra classes. Or Dragonfly. Yeah, I don't think Connie's in here right now, but
they live in Florida. So
Lori's just said, happy to help, Scott. Yay. So Jimmy says, I was with a woman who used a Sibian once and I couldn't help but laugh. The reason being, I swear to God, the night before I had just watched Urban Cowboy. Oh, jeez. And all I could see was John Travolta riding the bull when she was on it. That probably didn't go as planned, no. But, I would be willing to ride a Sibian with a cowboy hat and my chaps on. Would that be okay?
Why not?
I think we could do that. That would be cool, Bunny, to put it up and get legs that kind of extend up so that you could ride it more like a horse instead of having to be on your knees, where your legs can be kind of hanging in stirrups. You could.
Yeah.
That's the next invention. Okay, Bunny, is the ride the Sibian like a horse. Comes with your cowboy hat and chaps. So on another note, keep turning my chair. Last Halloween, year ago, we get invited to a party. And my husband tells me that it's a BDSM biker theme. Okay? So we have chaps we had a motorcycle, so I've got my chaps and my leather vest and bustier and all that kind of stuff going on. And so Bunny says, have you ever seen the girl riding the bull? Just saying. Yeah. So we go to this party and we're getting closer, and Mark calls his friend who's giving the party. And I said, now make sure, because I've got this pair of assless chaps on and just a little tiny, little bikini bottom underneath it, but nothing else. This is Northern California, so it's not like Hito. So he says, make sure there's no kids there. So Mark calls and asks his friend, Nancy wants to make sure there's no kids there. And he goes, no kids. I almost made Mark turn. Well, we actually did turn around to go home to change, and then we got the balls again, or the vulva. We got the vulva again to go back. We walk in. Here we are in our assless chaps, and there's our friend's teenage kids as the servers for this party. So I had to stand with my back to the wall until I had a few drinks.
What's really funny about the story is just that we went to another New Year's Eve party, and everybody that came in was saying, why didn't you wear your chaps again?
Yeah, a year later, they're still remembering who wore the chaps. So he totally set me up. Just kind of guy he is.
A Halloween party.
Yeah. I had a wig on, but they'd still recognize me.
Didn't help.
Chaps are so sexy. They fit with the Sibian perfect. All right, well, let's get that Sibian out here, Bunny, and I'll do a photo shoot for you for some promos. Just kidding. All right, so I think we've covered the yoni pretty well tonight. Mounting a Sibian on a bucking machine would give a woman a huge advantage in riding way longer. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. You think that would be a good photo shoot, Lori? Me on the Sibian with some assless chaps and a little red cowboy hat, and I have a leather vest. Makes my boobs look all big.
You wouldn't have to worry about falling off.
No.
Just saying.
True. That's true. Wouldn't have to worry about falling off. Plugged in. Now the Sibian's pretty cool.
I think anytime you feel a little bit more preoccupied with sexual time, it's a good thing. And that's why around the house you can get distracted. Nancy knows that I love that preoccupation. So when we go to Jamaica, we go to Nancy's events, or we go to events, we have a chance to be a little bit more preoccupied.
So Buddy says she's going to hold me to it. No backing out. Right, Mark?
I got you.
She's got your back.
I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not sure what it would be. That'd be great.
And Tina says, you're going to do a shoot. Sounds nice. You're getting a little red, Nan. I know. God dang it.
We'll have to sneak down to those Toys R Us horses and at night.
Yeah. So, see, Jimmy says he's happy to know that the Urban Cowboy experience has inspired so much new experience.
That's how Facebook works.
So, you know, we're just an idea vat here.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you too, Bunny. I miss you. When do I get to see you again? Where are we going to meet? I've got some really cool things coming up.
All right, I'm going to check out, but thanks for everybody checking in. I hope I made it a little bit more fun.
Always.
All right, dear.
Thanks, baby. All right, Happy New Year, everybody. So I'm going to be talking to my my friends here, Bunny and Lori and Ava, and this women's event. Lori says, bye, I love you.
Yes.
This women's event in Jamaica in July might be a really great time to bring some of these, to get some of our women together to really do some fun things, not necessarily to teach, but to just participate and be together, bring extra power. So Bunny says, sexual freedom, baby, is wide open and should be everywhere, no matter the fetish. You betcha. Yes, Tina, you can share this live anytime. So I'm very excited because the event that I'm planning here in Reading is actually, the tickets are selling fast now. We should have around 50 people for my first evening, a 3-hour event, and it's going to be at a really cool place. If you want to see it, it's called Armando's Gallery House, and I'll put the tag in the comments later. He's a very cool guy in Reading, and he has created this really beautiful restaurant that's an art gallery. It's a revolving art gallery, so it's always changing. He's been an art collector for over 25 years, and it really it's going to be incredible. So it's January 17th in Reading, California. So if you want to come to Reading and come to my your Yoni and you to thy Yoni be true event. It's women only, and it's going to be very cool. Appetizers, wine, dinner, dessert, gifts, a talk, community, and connection. This women's collaboration group that we've evolved, and just recently I've just called out to these women and said, hey, I want to do this work locally. I've been doing it all over the world, and I really have this calling to bring it to the local women. Do you think we're ready for it here? Do you think the women are going to be accepting of this? I've been a little nervous about bringing this out in my hometown, and so it's coming along really beautifully, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive. So I'm thinking that I might have a little bit more to do here locally. So that's very cool. You can't make it. I know, you're so busy. Do you love the name? To thy Yoni be true. All right, well, I've kept you all over an hour, and I want to thank you for participating. Bunny and Lori and Ava and Tina and all of my friends. Jimmy, thank you for your input, and William and Fred and all these people that have participated tonight in adding to the conversation. We need to keep these conversations going because we want to empower women, because as we empower women and women feel safer in their power, they will be so much more present for the men in their lives and the women in their lives and their children and their communities and themselves. And we know that just what has been done in other countries, when you educate and empower women, how much changes for the good of the whole. When I had this collaborative meeting this week with my team, the thing that was so palpable was that all of these women were spending a couple of hours of their precious time in their evenings away from their families, away from their work, to come together to create something that was going to heal women. There was no jealousy. There was no, I think anything any stereotype about women working together was completely abolished. That these women truly were there for the same purpose, and that is that they want to be healed and they want to help heal others. Pure and simple. So here we go in my little community. So, oh, hi, Mark Mays. Oh my gosh. Well, he can watch the whole thing a little bit later. I'll leave it up and I'll put it on my website too. So Lori and Mark Mays is the best entertainer in the world. He is everywhere. It seems like he's at Hedo, he's on cruises, he's at events, he's everywhere, entertaining the troops. So we appreciate you, Mark. And Lori, I miss you, and I'm so excited. I was telling everybody at the beginning about the yoga tours and the tantra tours in Europe coming up, starting in the spring. I am thrilled beyond thrilled that you are spearheading this with this gentleman that has been doing this, with Ishmael, who's been doing this for a while. Lori is an incredible resource and a breathtakingly beautiful woman. So if you want to know anything about tantra or sexual healing or sex and happiness, you need to contact Lori Handlers right here. She's my dear friend. I love her and I respect her and I worship her. So happy 2018. We're just getting started. It's going to be a great year, and I appreciate all of you being here with me tonight. Cheers. Here's to making 2018 the best year yet. And Lori just put in the link for our sacred getaways. So here we go. Let's have a great year with love, respect, and true gratitude. Namaste.